You just told yourself you wouldn't do it again. You were good all day. You made the right choices, drank the water, skipped the afternoon snack. And then something happened. Maybe it was late. Maybe you were tired. Maybe nothing happened at all. And suddenly the thing you said you wouldn't eat is gone, and you're standing in the kitchen trying to remember how it got there. You didn't fail. You were ambushed. And the weapon used against you is older than language, older than agriculture, older than the first human who ever tried to resist anything at all. It was built into your body across millions of years of evolution, and it is very, very good at its job. The real reason you can't stop eating sugar has almost nothing to do with willpower. It has everything to do with survival. Go back, not a few decades. Go back hundreds of thousands of years to a version of you scanning the edge of a forest. Your brain is running a constant calculation, one it never stops running, one it still runs in you today. The question is simple. Where is the energy, and how do I get it before something else does? In that world, sweetness was a signal, not a treat. A signal. A piece of fruit that tasted sweet was ripe. It was safe. It was dense with calories your body could convert into energy almost immediately. A piece of fruit that tasted bitter might be unripe, toxic, dangerous. Your ancestors who felt a powerful pull towards sweetness ate more ripe fruit, had more energy, survived harder seasons, and passed that pull directly to you. You are the descendant of the humans who could not resist sugar, the ones who were more likely to die. The psychologist and neuroscientist Kent Berridge has spent decades mapping what he calls the brain's wanting system. His research revealed something that reshaped how scientists understand craving. Wanting and liking, it turns out, are not the same thing. They live in different circuits in your brain. And wanting, the drive to pursue and consume, is far more powerful, far more ancient, and far harder to override than the simple pleasure of liking something. When you eat sugar, your brain releases dopamine, not as a reward for finishing, as a signal to keep going. The dopamine spike is highest at the anticipation of sugar, not the consumption of it. Your brain is not saying this is good. It is saying go get more of this right now. It is treating sugar like a survival emergency, because for almost all of human history, finding a source of concentrated sweetness was exactly that. This is why one bite is harder than no bites. This is why telling yourself you'll just have a little almost never works. You aren't fighting a preference. You are fighting a neural circuit that evolved specifically to override your better judgment in moments when calories were available. But here is where it gets stranger. Think about what that circuit actually feels like from the inside. You are not experiencing a preference. You are experiencing a pull. A pull that shows up before you have consciously decided anything. A pull that seems to arrive from somewhere below thought, below choice, below the part of you that knows better. That is not an accident of character. That is the wanting system activating before your prefrontal cortex, the thinking, deciding part of your brain, even has time to weigh in. The craving arrives first. The reasoning arrives second. And by then, the hand is already reaching. The modern food industry knows this circuit exists. Not just knows, has spent billions of dollars reverse engineering it. In the 1970s and 1980s, food scientists at major corporations began applying a concept that researcher Howard Moskowitz would later describe publicly as the bliss point. The bliss point is the precise quantity of sugar, salt, and fat in a food product at which the human brain's reward system reaches its peak response. Not too little, not so much that the craving self-extinguishes. Exactly enough to keep the wanting signal firing without ever fully satisfying it. Moskowitz, who had a PhD in experimental psychology from Harvard, applied mathematical optimization to food formulation. His findings transformed how processed foods were engineered. Products were no longer made to taste good. They were made to hit the brain's ancient wanting circuit at the exact frequency that kept people eating past the point of hunger, past the point of satisfaction, past the point of any conscious decision to continue. Your brain cannot tell the difference between the sweetness of a ripe piece of fruit on a prehistoric plain and the sweetness of a product engineered in a laboratory by a team of scientists whose job was to make you unable to stop. To your wanting system, they are the same signal. Calories are here. They might not be here tomorrow. Consume them now. And your body does something else that makes this harder. When you eat sugar, insulin rises to manage the blood glucose spike. Then it falls. And as it falls, something interesting happens. Your brain reads the drop as a signal that energy is running out. So it sends the wanting signal again. Not because you are truly hungry, because the biochemical aftermath of eating sugar mimics the early warning signs of an energy shortage, which to your ancient brain means danger. You ate sugar. Your body responded. And now your body is asking for more sugar to fix the problem that the sugar caused. Neuroscientist Nicole Avena, whose research focuses on sugar and the brain, has found patterns in sugar consumption that mirror the behavioral signatures of substance dependence, including escalation, where more is needed over time to achieve the same effect, and withdrawal-like symptoms, including anxiety and irritability, when it is removed. She has been careful to note that sugar is not a drug in the clinical sense, but your brain's response to it travels through many of the same ancient pathways. The wanting system does not care about your goals. It does not know about your diet, your doctor's advice, your 10-day plan. It knows one thing. Concentrated sweetness was rare and precious and life-saving for almost all of human history, and every time you encounter it, the correct response is to consume as much as possible as quickly as possible. That system was never designed for a world where sweetness is available at every street corner, in every vending machine, hidden inside bread and pasta sauce and salad dressing and foods that don't even taste sweet. It was designed for scarcity. You are running ancient survival software in an environment of unlimited abundance, and the software has no update for that. So what do you actually do with this? The research suggests a few things. First, reducing exposure matters more than increasing resistance. If the wanting signal doesn't fire, you don't have to override it. A brain that never encounters the trigger doesn't have to fight it. This is not about weakness. It is about not putting an ancient survival circuit in a situation it was never built to lose. Second, protein and fiber slow the blood glucose response, which means the insulin crash that drives the rebound craving is smaller or delayed. The craving is real, but its biochemical fuel can be managed. Third, and perhaps most importantly, knowing that your craving is not a moral failure changes something. You are not weak. You are not undisciplined. You are a human being whose brain is running exactly the software it was built to run, in a world that was designed by other human beings to exploit that software for profit. Tonight, if you find yourself in the kitchen again, reaching for something you said you wouldn't, you can be curious instead of ashamed. Your brain just received a signal that has kept your species alive for hundreds of thousands of years. It did its job perfectly. The question, for the first time in human history, is whether you want it to. Consider what the numbers actually look like. The average person today consumes somewhere between 17 and 22 teaspoons of added sugar every single day. For most of human history, concentrated sugar in any form, honey, ripe fruit, was a rare seasonal find. Your brain evolved its wanting circuit for an environment where sugar might appear a handful of times a week at most. Now it appears in everything, including things your ancestors would not have recognized as food at all. And every single encounter triggers the same ancient signal. This is rare. This is precious. Consume as much as you can right now. The mismatch between the environment your brain was built for and the environment you actually live in is not a small gap. It is a chasm, and you are expected to jump it every single day using willpower alone. And there is one more layer that makes this even harder to see clearly. Sugar affects mood. When your blood glucose rises, serotonin production in the brain can increase. For a brief window, you feel better, calmer, less stressed, less anxious. Your brain notices this. And the next time you feel stressed or anxious, the wanting circuit offers the same solution it offered before. Not because it is trying to sabotage you, because last time it worked. Your body learned that sugar reliably softens a hard moment, and it filed that away as a strategy. This is why stress eating is not random. It is the wanting system cross-referencing an emotional state with a previously successful solution. You feel bad. Sugar made you feel better before. The circuit activates, and it does this below the level of conscious decision, often before you have even identified that you are stressed at all. Researcher Robert Lustig, a neuroendocrinologist at the University of California, has argued that this combination of factors, the dopamine loop, the insulin crash, the serotonin connection, and the engineered optimization of modern food products, creates conditions in the brain that are genuinely difficult to escape through intention alone. His position is controversial among scientists who study nutrition, and the debate is ongoing. But the underlying neuroscience of the wanting system and its relationship to sugar is not controversial. The circuit is real, the pull is real, and it was built for a world that no longer exists. That's all in today's video. If you like it, hit subscribe and like to get all new updates.